Next slide. So this is Florida at a glance in 2015. And as you can see, 44%, so almost 1 in 2 Floridians in 2015 were falling beneath what we call the ALICE threshold. So either within the ALICE population or within the folks that live underneath the poverty line. And to reiterate, ALICE stands for Asset Limited Income Constrained Employed. And as I said, it's also a person that we know in the neighborhood. It's our family members, it's our community members. But the federal poverty level is also a measure that we see in use in the economy and in our policies. Federal programs are dependent on that, but it's a measure that's actually outdated. And that's another reason why United Way's decided to invest in this new report to say, what's a better measure than the federal poverty level? 2 things with the federal poverty level. Since we're talking about data today and using data can be your friend, but if it's the wrong data, then it actually isn't your friend. And so if it's a measure that is it's actually the same for the entire contiguous United States, the federal poverty level, which doesn't make a lot of sense, right? So you can think of the cost of living in Tampa versus maybe the cost of living in Gainesville. That would be different. So why does it have the same poverty line level data? Same thing with New York City, North Dakota, California, all the same number. Is pretty nonsensical. The other thing is that it's from an old formula. It was from a formula in the 1960s that overemphasized and overweighted food and clothing and underweighted things like healthcare and rent and childcare, especially things that are a large portion of our budget today. So that's an example of where you see data that it's really important for you to look behind and what does it really mean and how did people come up with that. With this slide, we look at over time. How's Florida as a state doing over time in terms of ALICE? And the top line message for this slide is to know Florida is getting better since the Great Recession, but we're not quite to pre-recession levels similar to the rest of the nation. And then with any of these slides, if you see the yellow on the right, that's actually the absolute number of households. So you see we're also growing as a state. Next slide. And just as I said, the poverty level, the federal poverty line, is not a great measure in terms of comparing state to state or community to community.